Stop working forever. Financial freedom in 7 steps. What if I told you that you could stop working forever in just 7 strategic steps? Not because you're lazy, but because you've built a financial fortress so strong that money works for you instead of the other way around. Welcome to Luxona, where we turn financial education into the Netflix of wealth building. Here's the brutal truth that the financial industry doesn't want you to know. 95% of people will never achieve true financial freedom. But it's not because they don't make enough money. It's because they fundamentally misunderstand how money actually works. Today, we're going to change that with the Luxona 7-step freedom formula. Before we dive in, let me ask you this. What would you do with your time if you never had to worry about money again? Drop your answer in the comments below, because I want to know what drives you toward financial freedom. Step 1. Emergency shield. Build your financial fortress. The first step isn't sexy, but it's absolutely critical. You need to build a $1,000 emergency fund as fast as humanly possible. Why 1,000? Because that's enough to handle most of life's curveballs without derailing your entire financial plan. Here's what most people get wrong about emergencies. They think debt is their safety net. Credit cards, home equity lines, personal loans. But here's the behavioral psychology behind why this destroys your wealth. Every time you use debt for emergencies, you're training your brain that debt is the solution to problems. You're literally rewiring your neural pathways to reach for borrowed money instead of your own resources. Studies show that people with even small emergency funds are 3 times less likely to fall into deep debt during financial crises. Your emergency fund isn't just money, it's psychological armor. It gives you the confidence to make better financial decisions because you're not operating from a place of fear. Step 2. Debt annihilation. The avalanche method. Step 2 is where we declare war on debt. I want you to list every single debt you have except your mortgage, from smallest to largest. Then, attack them with the fury of 1,000 suns, starting with the smallest balance first. This is called the debt snowball method, and there's powerful behavioral science behind why it works. When you pay off that first debt, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that makes you feel good when you eat chocolate or get likes on social media. This creates a positive feedback loop that motivates you to tackle the next debt. The average American household carries over $16,000 in credit card debt alone. Credit card companies make their money by keeping you trapped in minimum payment hell. They've designed their system to extract maximum profit from your behavioral weaknesses. When you only make minimum payments on a $10,000 credit card balance at 18% interest, you'll pay for 28 years and fork over nearly $18,000 in interest alone. But here's the game changer. If you can find an extra $200 per month to throw at that debt, you'll pay it off in 4 years and save over $14,000 in interest. That's the power of intentional behavior over mindless consumption. Step 3. The Freedom Fund, your complete emergency coverage. Once you've eliminated all non-mortgage debt, it's time to build your complete emergency fund. This should cover 3 to 6 months of your total expenses. Not your income, your expenses. If you can live on $4,000 per month, you need $12,000 to $24,000 in this fund. This is where most people's brains start playing tricks on them. They think this money is sitting there doing nothing, earning pathetic interest rates. But that's exactly the point. This money has one job: to keep you out of debt when life happens, because life will happen. The Federal Reserve reports that 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money. Don't be part of that statistic. Your emergency fund is what separates you from the masses who live paycheck to paycheck, regardless of their income level. Step 4. The wealth machine. Investing 15%. Now we get to the fun part. Step 4 is where you start building serious wealth by investing 15% of your household income into retirement accounts. This is where compound interest becomes your best friend and time becomes your secret weapon. Here's a mind-blowing statistic. If you start investing just $500 per month at age 25 with a 10% annual return, you'll have over $2.6 million by age 65. But if you wait until age 35 to start, you'll only have about $1 million. That 10-year delay costs you $1.6 million. The behavior that kills wealth building is perfectionism. People wait for the perfect time, the perfect investment, the perfect amount to start. But perfect is the enemy of good. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Most people think investing is complicated, but it's not. Simple, broad market index funds have outperformed actively managed funds 90% of the time over the past 20 years. You don't need to be Warren Buffett, you just need to be consistent and patient. Step 5. Future Generation Wealth. Kids College Fund. If you have children, Step 5 is funding their college education. But here's where we need to talk about some hard truths. The college landscape has changed dramatically. The average student graduates with nearly $30,000 in debt, and many degrees don't provide the return on investment they once did. Instead of blindly funding any college dream, teach your children about money and help them make strategic education decisions. $100,000 in student loans for a degree that leads to a $40,000 salary is financial suicide, but a $20,000 investment in a high-demand trade skill could lead to a six-figure income. The goal isn't to pay for everything. The goal is to give your children options without crippling their financial future. A 529 education savings plan can be a powerful tool, but it should never come before your own retirement savings. Step 6. Property ownership. Your mortgage freedom. Step 6 is paying off your home mortgage early. This is where people get really fired up in the comments, so let me know where you stand on this debate. Some financial gurus say you should never pay off your mortgage because of tax deductions and investment opportunities. But here's the behavioral reality. A paid-off house gives you incredible psychological and financial freedom. When you own your home outright, your monthly expenses drop dramatically. This means you need less income to maintain your lifestyle, which means you can take more risks, pursue passion projects, or simply work less. The peace of mind that comes with owning your home free and clear is worth more than any theoretical investment return. Consider this. If you have a $300,000 mortgage at 4% interest, you'll pay over $200,000 in interest over the life of the loan. That's money leaving your pocket forever. When you pay off your mortgage early, you're guaranteeing yourself a return equal to your interest rate, tax-free. Step 7. Ultimate wealth building. Maximum investment mode. The final step is where you become unstoppable. With no debt, a full emergency fund, retirement savings on autopilot, kids' education funded, and your house paid off, you can now invest like a maniac. This is where you build generational wealth. At this point, you can afford to take more risks, start businesses, invest in real estate, or pursue other wealth-building strategies. You have the ultimate financial superpower. Options. You can afford to be patient with investments because you're not dependent on them for your basic needs. The wealthy understand something that most people don't. Building wealth is 90% behavior and 10% knowledge. You already know you should spend less than you make, avoid debt, and invest regularly. The challenge is actually doing it consistently over time. This is exactly what we dive deep into over at Luxona on Patreon. We don't just give you the theory. We give you the behavioral tools, the accountability systems, and the community support to actually implement these strategies in your real life. Because knowledge without implementation is just entertainment. The statistics are clear. Only about 20% of Americans will ever achieve financial independence. But it's not because they lack opportunity. It's because they lack the behavioral framework to make consistent, long-term decisions that compound over time. Here's my challenge for you. Pick one of these 7 steps and commit to it for the next 90 days. Don't try to do everything at once. Master one step, then move to the next. And let me know in the comments which step you're starting with and why. Remember, financial freedom isn't about having enough money to buy anything you want. It's about having enough money that you don't have to think about money. It's about having options, flexibility, and the power to live life on your own terms. The path to financial freedom isn't complicated, but it's not easy. It requires you to behave differently than the majority of people around you. It requires you to delay gratification, make sacrifices, and stay focused on long-term goals while everyone else is chasing short-term pleasures. But here's what I know for sure. If you follow these 7 steps consistently, you will build wealth, you will achieve financial freedom, and you will have the power to stop working forever, not because you have to, but because you want to. The choice is yours. You can keep doing what you've always done and get the same results as everyone else. Or you can choose to be different, to be intentional, and to build the financial life you actually want. What's it going to be? Let me know in the comments, and remember to check out Luxona on Patreon for the complete wealth-building system that turns these concepts into your daily reality.